Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Here's your morning encouragement on how to be successful. The fastest way to get successful in life is simply to ask yourself, what is success? And how do you define it? For myself, I grew up thinking that success was something else other than what it is. And today I'm going to give you a definition for what I believe success is, or at least a definition of success that I believe has been not only freeing, but also helpful for me to find success even in the short term and in the long term. Here it is. My definition of success is to set a plan and to fulfill the plan. To set a plan and to fulfill the plan. What does that mean? Well, where's all these definitions of, I need to have a certain, type of house, or I need to earn a certain amount of money, or we make up this idea of what the American dream might be. That was a definition of success. It was somebody's definition of success. At some point in time when I reach X level of income, maybe I'll make six figures, or maybe if I earned and bought a house that looked like this, that would be success. But all that was simply a plan that they had set in their mind, and then they fulfilled the plan. And the beautiful thing about this in life is that we get to define what success is. I'll be honest and vulnerable for you. I coach real estate agents and other professionals in industries where they set goals that are mainly production-based and sales-based. And that makes sense because I'm in a business industry. However, earlier on in my career, I remember meeting with people who would sit with me and just say, you know what, I just really want to be a really educated real estate agent, and I just want to be the best mom I could be. And I remember sitting across from somebody, and I was like, I looked at them and I was like, is that really a goal? Is that really is that going to make you successful? Is that going to help you earn six figures? That's going to give you the life that you want and pay off debt and, get where you want to buy the certain things that you might want. It was all capitalistic focused, and there's nothing wrong with those things. There's nothing wrong with hitting those goals. I had my own and they had theirs. But it was very different because their plan that they had set in mind was something that was very, very different than what we might think is the plan to be successful. So here again is that definition. You set a plan and then you fulfill the plan. So I want to ask you this morning, what's your plan, not only that you have for yourself, maybe in your life, maybe in the next year or 2 years or 3 years, whatever that might look. Do you have a long-term plan? Do you have something that you want to achieve in the long term? And then the other question is this: do you have something for today? Do you have a plan that's set out for today? Now, I'm going to give you 5 things that I always encourage my coaching clients and people on my team in order to keep in mind, in order to have a successful plan in place. Now, here's what they are. The first one is I want you to get, here's my little, I love using like alliterations, right? So it's SMART, S-M-A-R-T. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Specific, I got to say something that is actually like, I want to sell a certain amount of houses, right? There's a real estate. It's in real estate. We're going to sell homes. Okay. What type of homes? Doesn't matter. Okay, fine. So that's less specific. Okay, maybe I want to sell condos. All right. I want to sell 30 condos. Okay, now it's measurable. Now I can measure that, right? I can measure 30 condos that I want to sell, or 30 single family homes, or whatever. Then I have to have it attainable. So is it really possible, if you're a part-time person who's only working nights and weekends, is it really possible to sell 30? Well, I've seen it before. I've seen some agents do it. I'm 30, but you got to have something that's attainable. So you might want to say, well, how long does it take to help a buyer? And then if I divide that out by the amount of time that I have available, is that attainable? And then it's going to relate to another one, which is relevant. Is it relevant to my goals that are generally happening in life? Right now for myself and my wife and my family, we have, Harvey will be 1 at the end of this month. But right now, we don't sleep as much. Our house is a little messier than it used to be. We don't work out as much. And, the priorities have shifted around to caring for a little child who's less than a year old. And it needs to be relevant to everything else that's going on in your life. And now, if you've got something that's going on in your life that says, right now we're just focused on the kids and we're doing that stuff, and it's not really relevant to put 50, 60, 70 hours a week into a career, well, you have to make it relevant. Otherwise, the rest of the goal, the rest of the plan that you set in place is not going to happen. And then the last one that you want to make is you want to make it time bound. Because if we set these markers in our mind that don't have time, then it's like, well, I'll sell 30 homes. When? In a year, in 6 months, in 5 years? When is it that you're going to accomplish this? So let me go over that once more. It's specific, measurable, attainable, and relevant, and time bound. That's a great way that you can set a goal in mind for yourself. And then the plan that follows that is the plan is an actual, it goes right onto your calendar. It goes right into some sort of way that you can keep accountable with somebody else. That's what I specialize in. I help people not only like know what to do, but actually do the do, right? They have to actually get something done. And so that's the actual plan part that we put onto their calendar. We break it down brick by brick, step by step, so that they can actually accomplish that thing. Now, the beautiful thing is that this does not have to be some massive thing. I mean, it can be in your life. You can have a 1, 3, 5, and 10-year goal for your life if you want to. I love doing that kind of stuff, but for my wife, that might be like, what? Hey, let's we don't need to do that today. Or other people, they're like, what? Let's just live today, or let's live this month. We'll figure that out. Everyone's built a little bit differently. But for ourselves, we have that opportunity to set whatever time-bound thing or whatever set of goals that we want in a certain time frame. So my encouragement to you today is this: you don't have to come up with your year's goal. You might do that for yourself in a plan. You might do it for a quarter or for a month or whatever. But my encouragement to you this morning is set it for today. What does it look like to be successful today? Set a plan in place and then fulfill the plan. That might be for you. You know what? I just I want to show up, get to work on time. I want to accomplish all my KPIs that I have for my day. And I want to get home. I want to make dinner. I want to work out, and I want to spend at least 1 hour with my kids. And that might be being successful today. For somebody else, it might be, I want to actually convert, I want to make 10 calls or 20 calls or 30 calls today, and I want to, get one appointment for myself. And that might be success. And I'm not going to leave until I get that. But setting those small, manageable, brick by brick, step by step goals in place, and then allowing those to just compound and compound and compound like interest does in a bank account, that's how at a long range people end up, they say, I am successful. Well, the success happened not only in the long term, but it happened because people decided, I'm going to make a plan for myself and I'm going to fulfill it on a daily basis. Thanks so much, guys, for jumping on here. This appears to be encouraging. Share this with somebody today who's maybe a professional who might just need a little bit of encouragement. Hope you're well. Talk to you soon.
If this video has been of value to you, then go ahead and click that subscribe button, especially if you're looking for more content as a team leader to grow a profitable team or as a real estate agent just to get started in your business with top tips. Thanks so much for watching.